Sometimes you want the most steady shots when you are filming, and you would do anything to make it happen, including that. What if I tell you, you don't have to do that anymore with this thing? Let's do it. Let me know how it looks, not the footage, but how stupid I look. Hi everyone, this is Henry. As you may already know, this is the DJI OSMO Mobile 2 stabilizer or video stabilizer for your smartphone. And this is for you to have a smooth shots when you are filming. It stabilizes your video, even for photos, same thing. But mainly for video, because as you can see, you have different modes that allows you to do like smooth pannings, or you can lock the gimbal at a certain angle and it will stay there no matter what you do. Yeah, I don't think you would do that when you're filming. But that's the power of the DJI OSMO Mobile 2. And DJI, it's known as a company that it's really good at making gimbal or stabilizer for drones or cameras. And this is for your smartphone, because a lot of people actually start using their smartphone to film nowadays. So this is a really cool tool. Today, we're not gonna show you a lot of samples of how good it is and everything like other videos that I've seen on YouTube or on the internet. Because you can definitely do your research and look at other review videos if you are looking for samples. But I found that not many people actually talked about how you can set this thing up when you first got it, because it's not as simple as like plugging in your phone and then power it on. Let's talk about how to set up this gimbal. When you first open up the box, this is how the gimbal is gonna look like in the box, and you're like, what the heck should I do with this thing? It's kind of hard to understand what you should be doing. And let's talk about the main things or the main features on the gimbal to help you set up. On the gimbal itself, we have two knobs. The big one is for you to change the orientation of the gimbal from landscape to portrait. I usually shoot with landscape. We'll talk about how to set it up for portrait mode later, but let's talk about how to set it up for landscape first. We'll be using this knob just to balance the gimbal, and I'll tell you why. Let me try to put my phone in there so you know how it looks like when it's not balanced or in balance actually. So I'll just mount my phone in there. And you can, as you can see, this is what I meant by imbalance. So the phone is actually tilting to the side, to one side, to the left side. And if we powered on the gimbal right now, it will actually put a lot of stress onto the motors. We have two motors, or actually three motors. Mainly when you want to balance the phone this way, this motor will be doing a lot of work. That way it will stress out the motor and it will use up a lot of battery. And you don't want that, because that will actually decrease the life of the motor. Let's try to balance it with this knob right here, this silver knob at the back. You can release it. In order to balance my phone right now, because this is really heavy tilting this way, I'm gonna pull the arm out. As you can see, the arm gets longer. And for my phone, I actually have to pull it all the way out in order to balance it, because I have an iPhone 7 Plus with a phone case and it's a really heavy setup right now, so I have to pull this arm out. Once you have this naturally balanced like this is how it is naturally balanced. This is not gonna put a lot of stress on the motor. Now we're ready to lock this knob right here. We can just turn and lock this knob clockwise. And you can press and hold this M button to power the gimbal up. And that's how you set it up for landscape mode. You can use different buttons on this gimbal. If you have the DJI Go app download on your smartphone, you can connect to the gimbal via Bluetooth. You can use the joystick to pan. You can still do it without the DJI Go app, but with the DJI Go app, you have a little bit more functions like zoom in and out with the slider. You can't use it without the DJI Go app. It doesn't work with a native camera app on your phone. But once you connect your phone to the DJI Mobile, it will actually allow you to use this record button even when you are not in the DJI Go app. For example, any other camera app like ProCam or any other app. And this button allows you to change to different mode. When you first have the gimbal powered on, When this light is showing you green, that means it's in follow mode or pan mode. It will actually follow to the direction that you're panning the gimbal to. If you press this M button once, this light will turn yellow, and this is when the gimbal is locked at that angle. And you can use the joystick to pan, as I showed you before. And you click it once, again to unlock it. Now it's in pan mode again. But you might notice this is kind of off center right now. You can actually center the gimbal by just double clicking the M button and it'll go back to center. You don't have to use the joystick to do it. Let's talk about how to set it up for portrait video. Portrait mode is actually a little bit harder to set up with this gimbal. You have to first remove your phone from the gimbal, and we will be using the big knob to change it to portrait mode. You have to release this knob right here, and you have to pull the phone holder in, or inward, outward, inward, and then rotate it counterclockwise. So the orientation is now flipped to portrait mode. But you have to balance it again because your phone is now sitting in a straight up portrait orientation, which will actually mess up the balance of the original settings that we had for the landscape mode. So let's try to put my phone in there and show you what I meant. Okay, as you can see, the phone is now tilting to the right before it was tilting to the left. But this is not the only problem. Let me show you. Let's try to balance it left and right first. I'm gonna release this knob at the back and push the arm in so it's naturally balanced left and right. So this is kind of naturally balanced. Besides this left and right balancing that you have to do, you'll notice that depends on how tall your phone is, it might hit the motor at the bottom. In order to make it working, actually you have to hold on to the gimbal sideways like this, and you can see that the head or the top of my phone, it's kind of too heavy right now because this is actually kind of more toward the top of my phone. So I have to push, literally push my phone in toward the gimbal, toward my arm, toward this arm right here. But make sure that it's not touching or scraping the motor at the bottom. You might want to leave a little bit of a space or a gap between your phone and the bottom part, the bottom motor. And let's try to see. Oh, this is too close to the motor, so I'm gonna push my phone back up a little bit until it's not scraping. Okay, and it's still kind of naturally balanced. I know my phone is big and kind of tall and heavy, so it might not be the best for this mode. But once it's naturally balanced, I would recommend you guys to use your other hand to hold onto the phone and click and hold onto the M button to power it on. So now it's naturally balanced with portrait mode. And you'll notice that you can't really tilt too much with portrait mode because the size of the phone will actually get in contact with the motor if you have it tilting too much. But panning left and right has no problem at all. So that's how you set it up for portrait mode. Just some quick tips on how you should be setting up your gimbal in landscape mode. You should always have your phone pushed in all the way, touching this motor right here. You should push it all the way in before you balance it actually. Another thing is you might notice if I flip it this way, there is a really tiny gap between the phone holder and this motor right here behind your phone. Sometimes depends on how wide your phone is. My phone is quite wide, it's a 7 Plus. It will actually scrape this motor if I don't set it up properly, and actually that will prevent you to have a smooth experience when you're filming with the gimbal. There's one way to fix it, or one way to adjust it, is to push this phone holder this side all the way to the right or your left. You push it away from the motor. So now you have a bigger clearance between the motor and the phone holder. That's how you should set up your phone in landscape mode. So that's how you set up your DJI OSMO Mobile 2. Good luck filming, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.